Okay, the best way I can draw this analogy is this. Say you're moving a pile of rocks from one side of the yard to the other side of the yard. And you can only carry 2 rocks at a time, one in each hand. So you go over, you pick up 1 rock in each hand, you walk all the way over to the other side, and you put your 2 rocks down. It's going to take you forever to move that whole pile of rocks. But if you got 4 friends, and you have them standing between you and the destination, and you just pick up the rocks and pass them to your friend, then he can turn around and pass them to the next friend and on down the line, and you can be back picking up more rocks before the rocks even get to their destination. Hello everyone, welcome back to Automation Empire. My name is Arctic Wolf, and this is episode 16 of season 2. In our last episode we got these ionized capacitors going, and they're heading out to the train. Trains are picking up everything they can hold and taking it out, but we're not quite getting to where we need to be to unlock the rockets. We need about another 2,500-ish of weight to go out. I was hoping that switching over to ionized capacitors would do that, and then we weren't filling up with ionized capacitors fast enough, and we're sending all of our ethanol over to research at the moment. But my fear is that we've reached a maximum of what our trains can export. This is full to the brim. We could start shipping this stuff out. We are ready to claim this stuff, so let's go ahead and do that. That'll be the first thing we do today. We'll claim all of this ethanol and see where that puts us for research points. Another thing that I've done a little bit of tidying up and cleaning up around the place, optimizing some things, adding extra storage for things. For the ionized capacitors, I realized that having one train minecart run all the way down here and back with 16 cars on it just was not cutting it. And then I went here and I realized that I had not done any of the speed upgrades or the extra cars upgrades for my minecart. So I bought all the upgrades in here. We got all of this stuff unlocked now. Much better result. The stuff is actually moving towards the trains, which is what I want. Standing from back here, you could see like right there when that thing took the corner, there's a little bit of bugginess as far as the tracking of where this stuff is at and what it's doing. But when you zoom in on it, not only does it speed up, but if you get in there, you can get it to collect all of the resources out of the minecart. Now that it's at max speed and it's lined up with everything, it's working better. I don't understand why it skips. Like if it's going the other direction, it has to come around a corner or whatever. It might skip a couple. I don't know, but it seems to be working okay for now. I'm hoping that the monorails eventually take care of that problem. But in the meantime, we have to increase the amount we're exporting. And I don't think the problem is how much we're delivering through the train station. I mean, look at all this gold fuel we have backed up here. I think the problem that we're coming up to is we need another train. So what I want to do today is we're going to rip out this train station. We're going to have to add a third line to it, however it ends up happening. I'm thinking about just reversing them. If I reverse them, I can have another train coming out of here and then put another train station in here and then have it hook in, I don't know, maybe run them back around over here to this side or something. I need to definitely get one more train line coming through here. That's a for sure. We'll probably have to elevate that minecart somehow to accommodate for the train passing through. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen yet with this. This has to change. It might almost be worth it to just throw some boxers at this end of it and put a truck line in here. Okay, I hope this ends up working. Got here is just a basic starter setup selling the gold fuel. I think we're gonna get an extra truck every 2 seconds going out approximately. So that should push this 19,456 up. This always tallies the previous 2 months plus this month. We'll watch this. If we can get this up over 2,200, that's ideal. Now here we go. Our train is coming out of the station. Maybe nope. It's moving ahead a little bit. That's the problem I'm finding with trains, is they take a long time to fill up when they're this big. It might be better to have multiple 5 or 6 car trains. Instead of 2 20-car trains, you chop that up into 4 or 8, even 5-car trains, and they'll come through faster. They'll fill up and leave, because if the timer runs out and there's still a train out there, it doesn't spawn a new one, and it doesn't like put one in the queue for the next time or anything like that. If it doesn't spawn it, it just doesn't spawn it. So I'm thinking we need to get them filled up and out of there within the 2-minute window that we have when the trains are supposed to respawn. That's part of my problem. Granted, they do, when they do decide to go, they roll out with massive amounts of freight, but it's not consistent. Okay, we're looking at this. The end of the train is down here, but it's filling up here at this gold fuel. I mean, they're taking the stuff, just not fast enough. See, I only need to get above 2200 one time to be able to get the next thing in our research unlocked. And I need to go claim all that research in the ethanol from the research base too. Let's claim all of this. I'm gonna get rid of that. Then we're going to go here and destroy all contents. Then we're going to go through here individually and claim them all. No modifiers or anything. We're getting 144,000 for each one, which is great. That's a lot. Now I need to do some track switching. We're going to put the ionized capacitors into the science, and we're going to run the ethanol to the train station. I'm going to do a little bit of switcheroo, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, and we're back, and I have rerouted the ethanol to go to the train station, and the ionized capacitors are now going into the research base. Oh, we're almost there. We got a 21078, and the ethanol is heavier than the ionized capacitors. That should get us there. Hopefully this ethanol thing picks up. I'm going to have to do the same thing with this track as I did with the ionized capacitors, because that seems to be working pretty well, which would be put some storage bins in here to hold the ethanol coming out of the building, and then put some storage bins over here to hold it before it gets loaded into the train station. This train still prefers to take the steel plates rather than the gold fuel. We might change that up too. But I mean, we are making steel plates, quite a lot of them. If we stop selling them, we'd have to stop making them and convert it into something else. So that's going to require, that'll all happen in the rework when we get rockets. Because I plan on tearing this whole thing out and rebuilding it once we get rockets and the monorails unlocked. Because yeah, we're going to have to rebuild all this if we're ever going to get the medallion. We're almost halfway there, and halfway there unlocks the rockets basically. And we need 24,000 to get the monorail, so you almost basically have to complete the basic original challenge before you can even get the monorails. Pretty late game, pretty tough. So here we go. We're starting to accumulate some ethanol over here. Maybe not a lot. Let me see what I can do about that. It's gonna be another pause and fix it cut. Sorry, there's no time lapses today, but that just happened to be the way it worked out. No project's really warranting a time lapse today. So the idea is to cut this all out, replace it with storage bins that hook up 2 separate minecart tracks instead of having one. What that does is it essentially adds another step to the chain from start to finish. But it also adds, like, it's like, okay, the best way I can draw this analogy is this: say you're moving a pile of rocks from one side of the yard to the other side of the yard, and you can only carry 2 rocks at a time, one in each hand. So you go over, you pick up 1 rock in each hand, you walk all the way over to the other side, and you put your 2 rocks down. It's going to take you forever to move that whole pile of rocks. But if you got 4 friends and you have them standing between you and the destination, and you just pick up the rocks and pass them to your friend, then he can turn around and pass them to the next friend and on down the line, and you can be back picking up more rocks before the rocks even get to their destination. And therefore your speed will be much faster. That's the idea with these storage bin breaks in the minecart chain. It's like adding an extra friend to the chain that's passing the books along or the rocks along or whatever it is. In this case, we're dumping it off in a storage bin so that another train can pick it up out of the storage bin. That adds 26 cars to the length of the train, essentially. I hope that explanation made sense. Anyway, let me get back to doing that. I'll see you when it's all done. I'm back after a short rework Let me see how this works. What we've got is it coming out of that building right there, and there's no room in that minecart track for any resources at all. We should dump everything that comes into this bin into these bins here, these 6 on the left, and then this track right here runs up and over to the train station. We haven't decided yet whether or not we're going to put another stop in here on this side. We'll decide that after we test, but here we go. Oh, it's working. It's getting ethanol out here. We're going to watch this train come in. Yeah, this is probably too long. This is definitely too long. With the long mine carts and being elevated and everything, it's still too long. But the problem is it goes over the river, or the lake or whatever, over the water here. There's not a spot to stop and put anything down here. Closest spot is right here. That might help, even if I put it in right here. One more small change and we'll see you in a minute. Alright, and we're back. And I've got something set up. I'm not sure exactly how effective it's going to be. I added some storage bins on both sides of the river, over there and over here. So now this train only carts between there and here, and then we have a delivery train picking up out of here and delivering to the train at all times. We got a delivery train coming out of the building and delivering to here at all times. So our bottleneck is how fast it takes this train to get from that side to that side with its load. Let's see how we're doing now. It says 21,284. It's getting better. I think once this warms up we'll get there. Maybe. We might have to rework the train station. There goes that one. Come on, other train. We need you to just roll on out of here and make us go up over 22K. Current month's revenue is $1 million. That's pretty good. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. It seems to be preferring the metal plates versus the gold fuel. Okay, we're at 20,178. We got trucks moving constantly at all times. I don't see any empty trucks leaving. So that's good. So this next time we're filling up the trains with ethanol next time, I hope, which is a lot heavier than all the rest of the stuff that we're sending out. Looks like I'm going to have to sit here and watch this for a whole cycle. So I'll come back to you at the end of the cycle and let you know how it went. Okay, to go back to my moving piles of rocks in the yards analogy here, what if you got, like, you pick up the rocks and you give them to your first friend there, and he just says, okay, and he just holds them. Then the next one, there's 3 friends that he gets to pick between to give the rocks to. They can each run across and back, and we're just going to put them in a big pile here for you guys to take from, and put in a big pile over there for you guys to put them in. I think that's the way to do this, which means multiple minecart tracks in between the 2 storage points. You got the storage point outside of the building and the storage point at the train track. We need to have like 3 or 4 minecart tracks running that line to get this stuff over there fast enough to put it on the train, because if you can see here, we're backing up right here and not enough is getting to the train at the other end. So I'm just going to come in on this side, pick it up probably right there, elevate the minecart track over and above this stuff over here, and drop it off in this bin somewhere over here. This will be quick and easy, simple and breezy. I'm back and I'm done with that. It's starting to get a little bit messy and spaghetti-like around here, but it's not terrible yet. Okay, we got 2 minecarts picking up from here, because this one's non-stop feeding out of here. Non-stop. It's continuous. So if we can get these emptied at a decent rate over into here, solve our weight issues. How are we looking? We're still at 21,284. That hasn't gone up in a while, but that is what we're working on here. We're trying to get that up over 2,400 or 24,000, over 22,000 at least. Once we hit 22,000, that unlocks the rockets. I guess we could start making mega fuel, but I was gonna wait until we got rockets unlocked to do that. I want to watch how fast this fills up. Seems to be doing fairly well. It missed one on the top minecart track there. We got some of them that are glitching, looking like they might have some in them, but then end up not being full. Definitely have one missed on the top minecart track. There should be more than that little guy that's going to the train can take. Just got loaded up with 2 minecarts just as long as him. So if he can do 2 laps, by the time they get back, we will have doubled our output to the train station. Ultimately, our goal is to get as much stuff outbound as possible. So So there's a full minecart track. That thing cannot be any fuller. Big as it can be. Seems like it's going slow, but that's because it's on the ground level, and these ones that are elevated go faster than that. I've noticed these minecart tracks work better with their unloading and loading if they're going a certain direction on the track, and the direction depends on the track and where you got your pickups and unloads positioned. Oh, we got this happening too before he was able to unload once. So that should put all of the ethanol into these buckets here, which will in turn put them all into these buckets here. I may even just get rid of the train altogether and feed that in with a couple of bins and a pipe. Let me see what I can do about that. I think I can get one of these ones in right here with a short pipe, and that'll be lined up to go straight into there. Let me just see some stuff real quick. We paused it so that we can, if this doesn't work, we can put this back. But if this does work, we've eliminated a train in the setup, which was faster because the pipe through the buckets is instant. So we plug it in right there and run this through here. Like, I can't believe this actually works. Look at that. Just stuffed it right full. We can get rid of this guy here. Amazing. One quick change later. Now we have no minecart delivering. It's just these 3 bins here. I bumped this one out by 1, connected it with some pipes, and then connected, and this didn't line up to the first one, but I was like, wait a minute, this and this is the same size, and if they're off by 1 here, then if I bump it out by 1, it'll be lined up here, and sure enough, that's what it was, so there it is. And now, when these ones come over here and drop it off, they don't have to wait for one to put it in there, and it's connected to all this extra storage. So let's watch this happen. Hopefully this will fill up them trains with nothing but ethanol, and we'll get our 24,000 going out. I really want to get to the 24K mark before the end of this episode. It appears that our ionized capacitors round 1 is done in the research bays, so I'm going to go ahead and claim all of that and let it run a second round. Yeah, there's so many bins that it's not even registering that they have them in there because it's prioritizing them in this train station, which is good. That's what I want. On the train station silos to be full completely before anything shows up in the bins, and I think that's the way it works. Currently have no trains in. They should be coming from the entrances over there any minute, but meanwhile that'll give us time to fill up these silos with a little bit of a backlog. Here's the trains, and we're already looking like we're out of ethanol for them to fill up. Maybe not. I might get lucky. It's already more than it was last round, so I'm gonna watch for another cycle, and I'll update you at the end of the cycle on how this went. This is looking much more promising. Oh no, it appears we have a train leaving empty. For the first time since I put the trains in, we have ran out of something that we're selling. Okay, with a little bit of quick thinking by me and a small patch to our systems, we should now sell out of iron plates before we sell out of gold fuel. So the second train, the inside train, wasn't picking up the iron plates at all, which is why it left empty last cycle. So we let that cycle finish, and now they're offset, which may or may not help with our goal of reaching 22,000. But either way, when it runs out of ethanol and gold fuel, it's gonna take the steel plates. And here I sit for another cycle. See y'all in a minute, folks. Okay, we're not gonna quite make it again this month. As nice as this is right here, I think the correct answer is to be bringing in some ionized capacitors from over here. Honestly, tap in right there, but I would prefer to tap in from over there. Run them over, and then we'll cut this here. We'll make this back the way it was, and we'll just have another one for ionized capacitors on the top, and we'll see how that goes. It's going to take me a minute to set this stuff up, so I'll be with you in a sec. I have this set up now. It should be getting ionized capacitors into this section right here from this reservoir over here, which is empty because this is taking a long time to get them down to here. This is getting a little bit bonkers. I'm gonna have to add another one that delivers to this basin here from these ones here, because that seems to be our bottleneck now. So let me get to that. Oh, this is getting ridiculous. Okay, I've got a second line in from them capacitors to this bin here. It's just picking up its first load now. It's almost done with it. Can't really do much about elevating that thing unless I go like immediately to 3 and then back down to 2. So I just left it at 1. How we doing? Not good. Not as good as we could be. I mean, it's not terrible. Let's look at that. It's got all ethanol in it. Oh, we're starting to get some capacitors in here. Train's full of sparkly green capacitors. That's cool, but it's still leaving empty cars. So now the fight becomes how much can we actually output. Yes, this is filling up. These are full. These are working. Almost done with their second round of researching ionized capacitors. We're basically only doing that because they're so expensive. We get a lot of research points for them. And they were required for monorail, which we still need. We need the 5 million points to get the rocket, which we're almost there. We're at 4.2. We will have that by the end of this round here. And then we need 6 million points to unlock the monorail. So that's going to be strictly mega fuel. Once we unlock the rockets, we're tearing everything out and building a strictly mega fuel factory. Here's an idea for the devs. Make it so that the gold plates are required for some kind of research for something. Maybe a train upgrade that lets you carry more per car on the train cars. Or a silo upgrade that lets your silos hold more. I'm just spitballing ideas here, but hey. Somebody said, hey, put in a monorail, and you did that. So I'm taking a chance that somewhere out there, one of you guys that's watching this video happens to be a developer of this game. So we got the same amount of stuff going out as we had last go around, except this time, instead of the empty cars, we're going to fill them with ionized capacitors. Should get us close. I'm going to sit here for a cycle to see how this goes. No, I missed it. Yep, I missed it. Okay, we're trying another cycle. If this cycle doesn't work, I have something I want to try. After both of these trains leave, if I didn't hit my mark, I'm going to do something, and I'll explain it to you if I have to do it. This might be the one, but no, we didn't break the record yet. So we're still maxed out at 21,284. So we're going to pause the game, and what I'm going to do, we've got $10 million in the bank, so we're going to break here and here. That'll stop the trains from coming. So now I'm going to unpause and let this run, and we'll get a backlog in the silos here, and it should fill up. The trains, when we turn them back on, should just fill up with ethanol and nothing else and go on about their way, and then that should get us where we need to be. I'm going to let this run and fill up, and I'll catch you when this is done, when it's done. Alright, I'm back. We've got quite a backlog of the ethanol here at the train station. Our gold fuel, we're having a little bit of problem with coal supply, and it's being shipped out by truck, fed directly from the train station, so this is never going to get full while we just sit here and wait. But that's been keeping us afloat as far as the taxes and maintenance is concerned. So we come back, we're going to add a train track to each of these. That should cue the timer again, and we'll watch these things through a cycle and see what happens. Okay, in a last-ditch effort to make sure that we're making enough gold fuel so that we can get up over that 22K mark, I have tapped into our last available resource nodes that we have on the map. This is it. This is the last of it. There's nothing left. Every single resource node on the map. Oh, I guess not. There's some oil and some coal over here. Okay, that's good to know. We may need that. But we're running that coal from that little island over here into these storage bins right here. We've cut this delivery train into 2, so it's picking up from these 3 and putting it in there, picking up from these 3 and the bins and going in and dumping it into the building. hopefully that gives us enough coal in here so this bin starts filling up. Because right now we've got one in here, nothing in this bin. It's not cooking any coal, making any coal, or anything like that. So it's just sitting here idle, and this is full of gold. And we're not making any gold fuel, which is not sending any gold fuel. Yada yada, on, so on and so forth. We would like to nip this whole situation right in the butt. So I'm hoping this shorter track for this one to take, and more will be here because we have another train coming to deliver to here. I'm hoping this works, because this is only working when it's getting the coal right now. Hoping to smooth that out. Alright, this one's going back with a full load from here. Good deal. Looks like our science is done again. We can claim this round. We're gonna need so much of this stuff that claiming an extra round is a good thing. I'll just leave it go on the capacitors. They're giving us plenty. 177. Everything else is 144 or less. So this is good. We're at 8.1 million. Okay. I'm hoping that that change over there is going to help start seeing this stuff fill up in here, and then we won't have trains leaving empty ever. That was kind of the idea, but then I tapped into the gold fuel here, which drained the reserve. Okay, at least all 6 of our combiners are combining gold fuel, and it's coming out here. Since we got 7 boxers and 6 combiners, it's not quite enough to keep up with the boxers. Yeah, 1 every 9 seconds, and these are boxing 1 every 3 seconds. So actually, yeah, we got way too many boxers for the combiners we have. If we start to get a backup of coal too, we'll add some combiners over here. That might just set us straight. One more thing we can try. One more thing to do. And then if this doesn't work, I'm going to have to call it an episode and figure this stuff out next time. But we're going to break this road, this track, and this track, and let this stuff fill up. So we're absolutely sending nothing out. It's fine. We have 12.5 million in the bank. We can pay the maintenance on this stuff for a few months without an issue. So we're going to let this stuff fill up, and then I'll send everything back going again, and we'll see what happens. But I need to let all my changes warm up and get a good backlog in all the storage bins across the whole map, so that this will keep running long enough to get us our output that we need. Because we just get almost there, and then we run out of stuff. Like, everything gets warmed up and everything gets going and everything's going good, and then we just run out of resources and cap out. So I want to have a big backlog so we don't run out as soon. And if this doesn't work, we're going to redo the train station next episode. Okay, everybody, I've been at this for 4.5 hours now. It's looking like next episode we're reworking the train station, but I'm going to have to call it here for today. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I did learn a whole lot during this sequence of events that happened to take place during today's episode. We're probably going to call this one the Struggle for 22K. I think that's an appropriate title. But thanks for stopping by. You people have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you go. And we'll catch you all next time. Arctic Wolf out.